Hey guys, this is Josh from Grapplezilla, and today I am lucky to have a good friend, Eduardo Walmory. He's the cousin of another good friend of mine, Rodrigo Artilheiro. And Eduardo is a highly intelligent guy. He teaches both Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and catch wrestling. He's located in Brazil. He's also a judge. He is an absolutely amazing guy. Now, Eduardo speaks Portuguese as well as English, but I'm going to help out a bit in his English sometimes if he doesn't know the word. I'm going to try in my Portuguese a bit, but Eduardo is the man. And Eduardo, como está? How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm fine. Thanks for this invitation.
You're most welcome, my friend. So, Eduardo, so I was looking at your Instagram page and your YouTube, and you are fascinating. And the reason why is because you are one of the few Brazilians in Brazil who's not only has a background in jiu-jitsu, but also catch wrestling. What is your martial art history? Like, what is your story in martial arts?
Okay, my name is Eduardo Walmory. I'm 52 years old. I'm married with the same woman for 21 years.
That's good.
I have three kids. I have three kids, three children, Eduarda, Filippo, and Caterine. I am a judge in Brazil, and also I black belt. I started training with Rodrigo, my cousin, in Brazil.
Oh.
After that, I have to stop because I have to study for pass in the judge test.
Okay,
Brazil,
to be a judge.
A concurso, a test.
So Eduardo had to do a test to get the accreditation to be a judge. Correct?
Yes. So I have to stop everything in my life to study.
Okay, study.
Very difficult to pass in this examination. So I stopped the training. Just after that, I returned and returned to train, to study. I love my passion is learning about discovering new things and teach the guys. I love this.
Fantastic. Now, did you also, because Eduardo's cousin Rodrigo did judo. Did you do judo as well? Wow.
No, my judo is when I was training with Rodrigo, I put my hand on the gi and sit down.
I don't blame you.
No way. Stand up. Come on. Stand up. No. Because if I stand up with Rodrigo, he
send you flying.
Yeah. No chance.
Oh, yeah. I wrestled a little bit with Rodrigo, and his hip throw, and we were wrestling no gi, and I got his leg, and he looks at me and he goes, and I said, why is he smiling? Why is this guy smiling to me? I don't understand. Yeah. And next thing, my head was over here, my body there. Man, I felt like he broke my neck. And wow, I said, oh my God, this guy is a real deal. Real deal,
It's another species.
Another species, man. He's like a Terminator and RoboCop put together. So I'm really interested. So how did you get into catch wrestling? How did that happen?
When I was training jiu-jitsu, I realized that the leg lock was forgotten.
Yeah, simple
we
and forgotten.
Training, pass the guard. Arm lock, pass the guard, mountain. And I started thinking about, wait a minute, but this foot is in my hand. Why I don't grab the foot and make a leg lock? And this in my hand. So I start searching. Eric Paulson.
Eric Paulson, yes.
Billy Robson. Gene LeBell. So, that's fantastic. Josh Barnett.
Oh yeah, Josh,
That's
very good,
impressive.
very impressive.
And I find a book
Yeah.
with catch wrestling um, position principles, and I start to study that and put on my students these principles.
Nice.
And I note, I realize that the students after 3, 4, 5 months start getting the other guys more graduated. So
Okay, higher
for
level.
example,
They got higher level guys. They're
high level.
tapping higher
For
level
example,
belts. Yeah.
I have a student, Adriana. She was white belt with 6 months of training. She's very good physical condition. She's an athlete, and she loves MMA. I put her on an academy. I asked permission for the professor of this academy for training with the guys with no gi, the graduated guys. And she was a white belt, 6 months. And I told her, she is 6 months of training. Start no gi training and leg lock, knee bar.
Wow.
So the guys, hey man, this girl don't have 6 months. No, he has 6 months of training. Impossible. No, because I created a system in my mind. Grappling is a thing. Self-defense is another thing. So, if you are practicing self-defense, you have to use the principles of jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
So, you don't if you grab me, I use your grab against you. But when you are practicing grappling, you have to put on your mind some principles. First, I look for kuzushi. Kuzushi in Japanese is unbalanced.
Yes.
Okay? No kuzushi technique. Kuzushi is more important for the search for takedown. I realize takedown is the gold. If I take down you, okay, it's advantage.
Big
But
one.
in a grappling fight, because you are the position of your body is very hard to me. A free access in your legs, in your hip, because you are using your hands to protect yourself, and you are lower. You are
Yeah. I'm in a problematic position for you to do that.
yeah. So if I try Baiana, if I try double leg,
Double leg, yeah.
okay, three times, it's very difficult to
You'd be tired.
tired. Okay,
Yeah.
but when we are fighting grappling, not self-defense, grappling, I use step down. So we are fighting, control the neck, step down, Zakuzushi, because you
Breaking his balance. Yeah.
So my students, I put on their mind. After Kuzushi, you have to move yourself and take advantage positional. We are looking for advantage positional every time. Step down, arm drag, elbows in, or they collapse.
So
What is a
basically,
collapse?
what's a collapse? Yeah.
What's a collapse? Collapse, in Portuguese, é collapse. I need to grab you, or armpit, or neck, or arms, hands. But when I grab you, in the same time I stuck you, I fall down. I fall
Okay.
down. I collapse. Because you are grabbing on me, stuck on me, you came together. So we are stand. I take your armpit, your neck, and fall down. You come to me, come together. After that, I put the ashigarami. So uh, the collapse needs ashigarami in after that. Sequence 1, 2,
Okay.
3. So the training here is this, like a theater. So we repeat the sequence like a theater. So, but the open don't know what happened. In Brazil, it's very very interesting to talk about that. Jiu-jitsu is the best fight for your. You have to know this for your
Yeah.
life. Use the guard. This saves your life.
Mm-hmm.
But the jiu-jitsu has um I don't want to say mistake, but
Okay.
that's a vicious. They permit you to grab him.
Okay.
They are more
Confidence.
confident.
Yeah.
This is a mistake because in in modern grappling, if you have the dominance, the
Mm-hmm.
position, you are one step
Ahead.
um,
Ahead.
ahead.
Yeah.
So if you grab the opponent, no, don't grab and stop. No, grab and make a kuzushi. Put him on an imbalance, and after that, attack.
Mm-hmm.
Attack the leg, attack the back. But this is not you cannot stop.
Yeah. You have to
Looking
always
for position
continue.
every time.
Yeah. Oh, so basically, what you're saying, I'm just going to say for the audience, what Eduardo is saying, he's saying that the minute the match starts, Eduardo's students are looking for the kazushi and to continue always the attack and always have action in it, never to be stalling, never to stop. And from there, something is going to open up and then you get something. Am I right?
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect. That's
So,
what I think most important in grappling today.
I actually agree with you. I think with so I agree with everything you said. I think jiu-jitsu is king for self-defense. I think it's amazing. But I do think the problem is that it's the way jiu-jiteros are taught is because the premise, because people think in jiu-jitsu it's a small guy being able to defeat a bigger guy, that the key to jiu-jitsu is if it's a bigger guy, they can wait, they can stay there. But when you grapple, it's a problem because you have time limits and you have many different holds and people can be very strong and get tired and slippery. So I absolutely agree with you. Now, do you named some very amazing guys in catch wrestling. Do you have a specific style of catch wrestling you do, or you're just open to everything?
In England, we have 4 schools of catch wrestling in the world: English, American, Japanese, and Brazilian. In Brazil, who brought catch wrestling from Brazil is Mr. Euclides Hatten,
Hatem, yeah.
known as Mestre Tatu. When catch wrestling arrived in Brazil, the name catch wrestling is a bad feeling for the fighters because we had a television show with fake fights. The name is Telecat.
Ah,
So Telecat was a fake fight for the people in Brazil. So when Mestre Tatu, this is catch wrestling. Catch wrestling, Telecat. So he changed the name for Luta Livre.
okay.
But Luta Livre in Brazil, because the
The conflict with jiu-jitsu.
yeah, the Luta Livre is development, the use of guard.
Okay.
And catch wrestling, no. The catch wrestling absence the guard.
Okay,
This is
so
very interesting.
very.
So I look for the English style, Lancashire. I don't know the name of the city.
Lancashire, yeah.
Yes,
Billy Riley, right?
yeah, man. This guy, and
Amazing.
another stir. That's very incredible guys. Very positions, interesting. Other um, other view about the grappling. Very, very so English style with American style. The professor Eric Paulson. For me, Eric Paulson is a genius.
I agree. I agree with you. You know, Eric Paulson also. So I started when I was a child, I wrestled. Okay. And then I saw the UFC and I said, wow, what is this Brazilian Jiu Jitsu? But in North Canada, I mean, of all places, you're not going to get Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, although we had guys who said they did, but they didn't. So I was doing Jeet Kune Do in wrestling, and like most guys then, and I started doing shoot wrestling. So Eric Paulson comes from a Shuto background, but he also has catch wrestling. This is what the beauty of it is. And I absolutely agree with you. Now, here's a very interesting question. Did you find a lot of resistance? People who said, you can't teach catch and BJJ. A lot of people who went against you?
The old school guys has this and don't like catch wrestling.
Oh, they don't.
When catch wrestling classes start, this guy. No, I don't understand.
I know.
Why this opinion, man? The knowledge you have, more knowledge, more confident, more success. I don't understand.
Exactly. Yeah, the more knowledge you have, it makes you definitely more confident because you can solve situations and more successful. You're right. So you started jiu-jitsu and catch wrestling. Then you started a school, right? With this. Did you find the students even gave you some problems that they wanted to only learn or this or this?
That's a good question. When you think about the brown belt and black belt, they don't like to do catch wrestling.
Yeah.
They have má vontade. How can I say in English?
They have their way of doing things, and anything new that isn't in their way is kind of a threat. You know? Like this.
But in Jiu-Jitsu, I do different way. Okay, I know that Jiu-Jitsu is a flexible art.
Absolutely.
Catch wrestling is a brutal art.
Oh,
Jiu-Jitsu, you can stay in any kind of situation, back on the ground. Look, but catch wrestling has a very interesting situation. The dominance, the opponent from the top game, they look for this every time. So, man, control the opponent, block the hip, block the cervical, using cradle. In Brazil, you call sanfona. Block the hip, block the cervical. So the guy, this is the target on catch wrestling. Jiu-Jitsu, okay, I permit you more. In Brazil, you say malemolência.
Yeah, like a ginga almost. Like a ginga is there. So what he's saying is there's like a creative, it's like not a dance, but this movement where you see, in catch wrestling, I agree, it's very brutal. It's boom, you know, it's
example,
right to the
Charles
point.
Charles do Bronx is the genius in Jiu-Jitsu.
I agree.
If you permit Charles do Bronx put you on the guard and stay, he finished you. Arm lock, triangle,
Omoplata.
His hips is...
The movement of his hips is world class. I agree.
So you have to block the cervical, block the hip.
Yeah.
In
so
this situation, catch wrestling very interesting.
Yeah, so I know what you're saying now. So you're talking about the pin. In catch wrestling, just like judo, you discuss the pin a lot. So the pin isn't just a positional thing. It can be a weapon because it's supposed to hurt. it's supposed to put your opponent into a very painful position where they can't breathe. They're like like this, you know. Trust me, I've received a lot of pins, so I understand.
Josh, in Brazil, it's very interesting. When you are training jiu-jitsu in Brazil, the Brazilians are very competitive.
Oh yeah.
In training, oh my God. The guy don't want to lose the training. In his mind, you have the gold medal. That's very insane. If you put your elbow in the face of the opponent here in a training, man, you will have a problem. The train changed for a real life. That's insane. The guy don't understand, don't realize that this movement to teach him but no, he think this is challenge.
Yeah.
Oh, you put your elbow in my
it's
face.
Illegal. They think, why would you do that? What? Yeah.
Oh my God. So one day, I don't say the name. I was training with a guy. This guy will become a world champion with gi. He's a genius. And he has a guard, high level guard. So when he put me on in his guard, I take the cervical and push and pull.
Can opener. The can opener. Yeah.
The cervical is not legal in a gi.
Yeah.
But I use it. He opened the leg. I take it. The leg lock.
Yeah.
After that, he changed his face. He spanked me.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Oh my God.
85.
No. Listen, I have the similar. I see when you take wrestlers and you have them roll with BJJ guys, the BJJ guys get very maybe the older guys get a bit offended because the wrestler goes very fast and they're used to a very brutal like this. And it becomes, instead of a learning experience, they get offended, it becomes a fight when they need to take as a learning experience. Now, that said, here's a very interesting question that, of course, you're going to understand. Where does catch wrestling complement modern BJJ?
The catch wrestlers using the dominance of the opponent from the top game. This is very important.
Mm-hmm.
The kuzushi, the leg lock, and the cradles or pins.
Cradles, yeah.
Block the hip, block the cervical, control your opponent. Don't allow he moves your hip. So this is very important in a modern gi fight today. In the other hand, jiu-jitsu use the guards, use the for example, permit you grab me and I use your movement against you.
Mm-hmm.
Jiu-jitsu is very good this. So when a jiu-jitsu guy, skinny guy,
yeah,
is fighting against like me, chubby guy. So in jiu-jitsu, he moves, not he wanna move me. Let us say this.
Action and reaction. They're very good at getting you to react and counter-attacking you.
Yeah. Jiu-jitsu move himself and the catch wrestler wanna
move you.
Yeah.
Very, very good explanation. Yes, I agree. Now, one of the things I find with catch wrestling, because I'm a huge fan of catch wrestling, okay? I love it, is the biggest problem towards catch wrestling is that it's associated with pro wrestling, okay? And that's not a bad thing. I think pro wrestling, it's theater and it's acting, but it's nice to watch when you're a child, everything. But when you say to people you're a catch wrestler, say, what do you do? Like this? Like, you with the elbows like Hulk Hogan. So what do you do when people say, hey, Eduardo, you do pro wrestling? Where's your mask? You know?
When you show the guys the cervical blocks,
Yes.
the Nelson, jiu-jitsu said to me this, hey man, we're pro wrestling, telecat. It's very funny because, example, last year I was shopping in a supermarket.
Mm-hmm.
So a guy with my size was, how can I say in English? Insulto. He was
insulted from you.
He's
Got insulted.
freaking out. He's insulting the other persons, me, everybody in the supermarket.
Yeah.
So I in Brazil we have cameras. Every place you go has a camera.
Yeah.
And I think, man, what are they doing in this situation? Because if I make a fight and the camera watch this, that for me they're not.
Very
it's a bad situation. I'm a judge, man. I can't fight on the street.
You'll be the judge, the jury, and the executioner that day.
Yeah. And the guy, I believe the guy was with drug in her.
Yeah, he was on drugs.
In his mind, yeah. Cocaine, like that. He's not normal. So, I think, well, I have to do something here. I can't thank the guy, the camera, but I can control the guy. So I use the cervical and the Nelson to grab him, block him. I'm not injuring him. He's okay, but I mobilize him, stuck him on the ground,
Yeah.
Call the security and take the guy for the hospital because he's
insane.
He's insane.
Yeah.
So this kind of block, if you're using catch wrestling, cervical, Nelsons, this is very important.
So
and you can use it in no-gi competition.
Absolutely. They use it in wrestling all the time. What you're talking about is the Nelson family, where you're saying cervical, but you're saying around the upper latissimus dorsi, around the back and armpit into the neck. So you're pushing pressure onto the cervical.
Yeah.
And actually the old police used to use this to hold subjects in the 60s and 70s before they would hit them with batons. But in the end of the day, it was a very effective move. Now here, I have another question. Let's reverse it. So for the jiu-jiteros like us, I'm also a jiu-jitero. What are some of the weaknesses of catch wrestling that BJJ can complement?
The absence of the guard is the weaknesses point of catch wrestling. When you talk for catch wrestlers, so Josh Barnett has a classes
videos and yes, yeah,
and he talked this. No, I don't need the guard because nobody fall me down. I love Josh Barnett, but I saw him on the ground in MMA fight. So he put his back on the tatami.
on the floor,
Everybody needs to use the guard, to know that, to learn that, develop on that. The guard is the most important point in a self-defense, in a grappling. If you don't know use the guard, you are lost.
Yeah, I agree because it's a very weird thing with a guard. I'll tell you why. It's the place you don't want to be in a fight, but it's the place that if you get there, you want to know what to do. And a lot of big guys, especially like wrestlers, like, oh, I'll never get on my back. But how about if the fight goes not the way you want? And let's say you get knocked and you fall down, and a guy, either you're going to be mounted, or hopefully, if you can't get out of the mount, at least get him in the guard and immobilize him. Now, I've always wondered, does the way you train, does catch have any training methods that are different to what the mainstream is doing? What the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and the submission wrestlers, 10th Planet guys, what does catch, the training, do? Is there anything different?
I love to watch the Mr. John Danaher
Yes.
system of training. In my opinion, John Danaher is most intelligent guy, professor in this moment. He created a system that first health condition, the students of this
Are in good shape.
John Danaher, everybody is. I don't know what
They're
what
eating a lot. They're eating a lot of potatoes.
Gordon Ryan
He's a beast. A
a
lot of potatoes there.
impressive. So first the health condition. Second, he starts training leg lock. After that, he started with Ashigarams leg locks. After that, he put Kuzushi. After that, he put the control the back. So he created a system, and the students of John Danaher put the opponent on the place, on the situation that they want. They want to fight in this situation, and that's incredible. That's incredible. They put the opponent in a situation that he wants.
Mm-hmm.
I want to fight this way, and the opponent fight exactly like that. I don't understand. I used to say, man, that's how can I say this in English? Telepathia.
It's like they're telepathic. Yes.
Incredible. That's insane to do the John Danaher students fighting.
Yeah, so John Donner, I'm in a lot of podcasts like I do where there are people who like him and people who don't. Regardless, I always say one thing with John Donner. Regardless if you like him or not, the man is very smart. And regardless, some people say he takes the stuff. Some people say there's many who think he's taking stuff from catch wrestling and putting it into BJJ, and possibly. But in the end of the day, regardless of the methodology of how he's doing it, he's succeeding. And I think that he's definitely an intellectual. I mean, he's a doctor of philosophy, I believe, or professor of philosophy. I had a few friends who took philosophy, and it's incredible speaking to them. They think, because what's philosophy? It's the science of thinking, and he really, you can see that he thinks things out. Now, the training methods that he uses, I would even say maybe it's a lot to do with catch, and maybe he is taking from catch, but for me personally, it doesn't matter. He could take it from karate, he could take it from kung fu, from hockey. If it's winning the fights, it's winning the fights. That's my opinion. Now, that said, do you think that the modern no-gi that we're seeing today is developing into catch wrestling without people knowing it? Because what I see now, especially in the Craig Jones International, the CJI, to me, if I were to show someone this who knew catch wrestling but never knew about jiu-jitsu, he would say, oh, it looks like catch wrestling. Do you think that the no-gi is becoming catch?
Yeah. your point of view is I agree, and is go beyond it because in no-gi, they modern no-gi, they are using very principles of judo, sambo. For example, I was watching a fight here in Brazil, no-gi fight, a tournament, and the guy used a takedown from capoeira. Capoeira is a mix of dancing, of fighting, of an art, Brazilian art.
Yes.
Capoeira has a takedown. The name is Vingativa. Vingativa is kind of a double leg inverted. You attack the guy not from his. You attack the guy. You take the legs in this way.
Yes.
Mr. Guto Innocenti. Guto Innocenti is a MMA fighter. Guto Innocenti, very famous guy, striker. Guto Innocenti used this Vingativa in the MMA fighters and take down the guys. I saw he used the Vingativa against wrestlers, and it had a success to put the wrestler on the ground. So
I actually know the takedown you're talking about, and the interesting thing, you have it in a lot of grappling arts, but you have it a lot in capoeira, and actually Sanda from China, they use it a lot too. What I'll explain to the audience. Basically, you have the opponent and you reverse your hands and you put your legs behind. And what happens is that your top elbow is going to be above the elbow on their belly, and the bottom hand is behind their hamstring. And you pull down with the top elbow and you lift up with the bottom elbow, and thus they fall. And it's very effective because it's very easy to catch guys who are very good grapplers, because they get into the position when it's kind of off of a scramble, that before they throw you, you can pull this how do you say vutatinga in Portuguese? How do you say the throw? Vutatinga? Vingativa. So you can use the Vingativa there. Now, that's very interesting. You know, another technique that I don't see jiu-jiteros and grapplers using, other than, of course, wrestlers use it and catch wrestlers, is the Nelson. Now, why does BJJ not have a deep emphasis on the Nelson? Because I think it's a very good position. Why are they not singing jiu-jitsu so much?
When the Gracie family created jiu-jitsu, thought about self-defense. So after that, start the competitions in Brazil. The Brazilians are more competitive, and the injuries with the Nelson are increased. So
injuries, yes, okay.
Injuries are increased.
Yeah.
So we're forgotten the position. Okay. Because if you put the Nelsons in Brazil to competition, that's a catastrophe. How can I say this? I was in the States training in Detroit and Atlanta. Atlanta with Rodrigo, in Detroit with another guy. I was there to seminário.
For a seminar.
Leg locks, yeah. And I train with these guys in the United States. It's completely different. The way, the personality to training in Brazil, that's very different, because in Brazil, the training with the guys are a competition.
Yeah.
We have here in Brazil, jiu-jiteiros, you said, this jiu-jiteiro campeão de treino, the champ of the training, but in competition is not good.
Yes.
The guy wanna win the gold medal in the training. So, if you put some positions in Brazil, after the training, 5-6 guys go to the hospital. That's insane. In US, I realized the training, the guys when are training are more smart and are more intelligent to stop the position. So I take your heel hook on you, and I realize you don't know how to defend. So I open my hands, and you escape. In Brazil, no. If I put a heel hook on you and you don't escape, you go to the hospital. That's a different way. You understand? That's
Yeah, so basically, you're saying in very nice terms, the Brazilians don't mess around. They're going straight for the kill, So, yeah, I agree. I've rolled with Brazilians. I've rolled with everyone, and Brazilians. I always found Brazilians actually interesting because you're right. They go for the kill, but they will match it towards your energy a bit. If you come like you're an arrogant guy, you're going to get it back. But if you're a good guy, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but they're going to roll. It's going to be fun. But that's what I like about Brazilians, because then the attitude gets off the mat, and it's real. It's a good atmosphere to learn. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's good. Now, I'm coming to an idea. Your cousin, Rodrigo, let's call him the Rodrigonator, because he's such a beast. Do you have any funny stories or any interesting stories of him grappling with you and stuff? Because I'm sure you do.
Rodrigo is a very funny guy.
Oh yeah,
and he is a good person, but don't
piss that guy off.
Don't challenge him. One day, a wrestler guy in Atlanta, in Atlanta, United States, the wrestler university guy, want to start training jiu-jitsu. Big guy, strong, 20 years old.
Oh yeah. Eat a lot of potatoes.
Potatoes, yeah. So he put the gi, white belt. My cousin said to him, "Hey man, pay attention. This class is white belt, blue belt, so take it easy. Because you're a wrestler. You know how to fight." Okay. The guy didn't listen and start hurting the students.
Oh boy. Yeah.
So Rodrigo, after the class, Rodrigo called the guy and said, "You want to train for real, so change the schedule and do the class with black belt in another schedule, another time."
Yeah.
Okay, the guy, no, I prefer to stay in this class. I want to take this class.
Crazy.
So in Atlanta, I don't know, today is the same location, but it was a cage tatami here, and cage.
So they were in a cage that was locked with a mat.
Yeah. The guy arrived. Rodrigo said, "Today is our lucky day. Today we're gonna train it for real for 1 hour, my friend. Lock the door.
The door, yeah.
The cage." After 10 minutes, the wrestler asked to stop. "Oh, for me it's okay." No. Look the watch. 1 hour. Rodrigo spanked this guy 1 hour.
Mamma mia. No, man, yeah.
Never come back.
But this is good because those kind of students can ruin a person's academy. And also get them into legal trouble too. What happens if he comes and, let's say, worst case scenario, he breaks a person's ankle or neck? He'll get sued, and then Rodrigo also will have some legal problems, right?
Yeah.
So in the end of the day, I do think it's the old school way between me and you. This is the old way, and it's the way that works. Rodrigo also, for people who don't know who he is, this is a guy who is a national level Brazilian judo black belt. He was on the Brazilian Olympic team, fought in the Pan Ams. He's also a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Amori Betetti in English. Was on the Beast. Yeah, this guy is the real deal.
Will do.
Rodrigo also was Krokop's one of his grappling trainers, as well as a coach on The Ultimate Fighter. Vitor Belfort asked him to be the grappling coach. Rodrigo is the real deal. On top of that, he's incredibly intelligent. If you met him, you never know that who you're talking to. It's like a werewolf, right? Like one day he's nice, and then when the moon comes, out comes Rodrigo, right? And that's what happens. So I can see it runs in the blood. Let's just say that. We got Eduardo.
Another history about Rodrigo. Me and him wanna record a course for BJJ Fanatic.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah. So 1 hour he demonstration the position, another 1 hour I do demonstration the position. Okay. So I said, Rodrigo, please show me the position before we go to the record the course. No. So when when it start the record of the show, start put the position action. But I don't.
You weren't expecting it.
Oh man! And he's hungry, and he's angry. He's angry. Come on, do that. I thought, oh my god!
Rodrigo, I think I was watching a video of him and Bernardo Faria. And I think this was the time Bernardo Faria, when Rodrigo was doing the moves, was saying, this is not a good idea. Because Rodrigo is... if Rodrigo was a taxi driver, he would only push the gas. Let's say the gas the whole time. And because he's a wrestler and a judoka, he's used to very different type of energy when he's training. It's full on. Let's just say, and he's a real deal, man. Back to catch wrestling, because you have a very interesting viewpoint on it. Is catch wrestling maybe a better alternative to BJJ for Americans who come from a folk style wrestling background? Now, I'm asking this in terms of MMA. So in MMA, you have a lot of Americans come from the American collegiate wrestling, which is folk style. And folk style comes from actually catch wrestling. And the reason I'm asking is a lot of the wrestlers end up doing BJJ. And a lot of people say maybe BJJ is not such a good thing for them to do, but catch wrestling would be better and learn a bit of guard. What are your thoughts?
I believe that in the beginning, catch wrestling is better alternative. But later,
long term, yeah.
When the competition become hard,
yeah,
they have to learn jiu-jitsu.
Okay, so I would suspect that because catch wrestling will give them the offensive capability to submit and control on the ground with the hitting, but the jiu-jitsu gives them the defensive capability also to deal with jiu-jitsu, because I always say to people who, there's a lot of catch wrestlers who don't like jiu-jitsu as well. And I always say to them, you need to learn some jiu-jitsu because you have to understand what you're going against. A bear, if it's fighting a tiger, it's always going to do better if he knows what the tiger is going to do. And I think this is very interesting what you say. Now, you are also a judge, which is great because I think as an instructor, you have the ability to intellectually analyze the technique. Now, how do you balance being a judge and an instructor and family at the same time? And watching, you Flamengo fan, probably Flamengo, right? So, how do you balance this?
Being a judge in Brazil is not an easy task. To have an idea, this year in Brazil, we have 84 million proceeding in our courts. 84 million process proceeding this year in holy country.
So 84 million, not processed, but cases.
Cases.
Like proceeds, yes.
84 million cases
Wow.
this year in holy country. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Because here everything become a case, become a process. That's I don't understand how this happened, but this is a culture. In my office today, I have 303,000 cases. Three.
Que em português? 300 mil?
3.300.
3.000?
300 processos.
Yeah, 3,300. 3,300 processes. Whew.
Today in my court. That's unbelievable. So have to work a lot, and I'm married, have kids. So I'm a present father. I wanna love to stay with my kids, watching what.
Watch them grow and.
Yeah, I love this. This is a mission. So I have to do that, and I love it. So the jiu-jitsu today is in
third place.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Listen, family, I'm a big believer family first. It's the reason why we're on the earth, and it's, the most amazing thing. For anyone who's ever wondering if they should have kids or not, do it. Do it with the right woman, but do it.
Yeah.
Or you're going to see the judge for the divorce process. But so basically, you're extremely busy. So I can only imagine. Time management. You have to manage your time. That's
I try my garage 2 times a week with my friends Ribeiro and Marcão. They are black belts. I train my garage, put the tatami on the garage, and training 1 hour, 2 hours.
Fantastic. But they have a saying, something is better than nothing. Especially in physical, there was an old saying for weight loss, for example, for gordos like me. They said when you eat, you want to eat something bad, nothing is better than something. But when you want to train, something is better than nothing. So let's say for jiu-jitsu, it's the same. Something is better than nothing.
You eat the cake without guilty.
Maybe even 2 pieces, so everything's good. So, Eduardo, here's another one, because you have your viewpoint gives. I start to understand your viewpoint, and it's very fascinating. Who are the grapplers or jiu-jiteros, MMA fighters that you admire and had an impact on your grappling?
With Gui, Roger Gracie. Roger Gracie with Gui. In Vale Tudo and MMA, because Vale Tudo started in Brazil, and after that, it became MMA. Rickson Gracie.
Yeah, he's...
In the history of MMA, the most important guy is Royce Gracie.
I absolutely agree.
Because he put the jiu-jitsu in the world.
And he put his balls on the line. In the end of the day, he had the cojones, the balls, and he put it on. And he wasn't a massive guy. He wasn't a competitor before. And he went for it. And guess what? Everyone in Brazil, you knew Royce. But everyone who was in North America, we said, who's this guy? Who's this guy? What is this? And that's where it started. He changed the world.
I had the opportunity to stay with him in a seminary. He is a beautiful person. He's different. He ways to explain position is another level.
Yeah, I met Royce. So I have a very good friend who's a red and white belt. Okay, very close friend. He grew up with the Gracies. When he was a child, he actually knew Royce when he was a baby. Not my friend, but when Royce was a baby. And we were at a Bellator with my friend, and he introduced me to Royce. I've never met a guy who is, when I say in terms of the way he behaves, perfect human being. Just so kind, such a nice, respectful guy, humble. I would have loved to just not forget the jiu-jitsu, just to see how he behaves, because I think people could learn a lot from how he holds himself. This is a real man, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Now in grappling, who's the guy who has? I know Josh Barnett, partially, right? But who else?
I want to remember the person very important. The ambassador of Jiu-Jitsu today is Renzo Gracie.
Agree.
Renzo Gracie is a brilliant professor, a father. He's a family man.
Yes.
I love this guy.
I met Renzo in a seminar, and if I had to, I think Renzo has something that is very few people have like him, and that's charisma. He has such a charisma, and when he goes into something, he gives it all. Like his care. If he teaches you a technique, he's with you 100%.
Yeah.
And that guy also has big cojones, big balls. I'll tell you why. He would fight anything. And he also was development of the jiu-jitsu was amazing. And when he went to New York, he had Craig Kukuk. He was a partner with a guy named Craig Kukuk. And Craig Kukuk, what the story is, I don't know, but there was a big fallout. And a lot of people said, what's going to happen? But Renzo built himself. And I mean, obviously, it's Renzo Gracie. So I agree with you. I think he's the real ambassador for jiu-jitsu. And the reason why, as an instructor, amazing. As a school owner, amazing. As his legacy in his fighters is amazing. And lastly, his legacy in MMA is amazing, because regardless if he wins or loses, he came to fight. And if he lost, he accepted it like a man. No excuses, accepted like a man. And, this guy is amazing. And when I was in his seminar, technically, just wonderful, wonderful. And look who's here from him. John Danaher. You have so many guys, like basically the jiu-jitsu of the States. Most of it is coming from him. He's something else. Now,
another guy I want to mention in MMA history is Marco Ruas.
Oh,
Marco
yes.
Ruas, for me, is a fantastic person, like father, like professor, like a fighter. And Marco was Marco's a visionary, because he knows if you mix all the
yes,
fights,
mixed
all the
arts,
kind of fights, you have an advantage. So he used to say, if you grab me, I kick and punch you. If you knock, I grab you.
If you punch, I grab you. Yeah.
Yeah, he's for me. He deserves to stay on MMA Hall of Fame.
I agree.
UFC.
And he, in my opinion, he was the first real MMA fighter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Successful MMA. And also people don't realize he fought without gloves. This has to be known. And a lot of the fights without weight classes. His fight against Paul Varlins, remember the big, huge, like the polar bear? I think that was his name, the nickname.
Yeah.
Actually, Paul Varlins passed away. He died a few years ago, sadly. But that was an amazing fight, because everyone said, no, technique. But Marco was a strategist. He understood that this is a big guy. If he hits me, it's going to be problems. So what he did the shoot of the leg. He did the leg kicks over and over and attacked high up. And people said, wow, what is this? Who is this guy? And then I remember he went to Japan Vale Tudo after the UFC. And I remember there was supposed to be a fight between him. The fight never happened, but him and Mario Sperry were supposed to have a fight. They were talking about... Now, I was a very, very big Mario Sperry fan as well. So I said, wow, Marco against Mario, what's going to happen? It's going to be the end of the universe. This is going to be, never happened. But Marco Ruas, I agree. And also, I mean, his students. I mean, you have Pedro Rizzo,
Pedro Rizzo.
And
Fantastic.
Pedro Rizzo had, what's his name? Glover Teixeira. And
Glover.
the line, and now it's in a way Pereira, in a way, right? So it's coming down from that Huas, right?
Yeah.
And how about any grapplers? Who are the grapplers who you...
Today, in Elena, I don't remember this. She's a student from
John Donovan.
John Donovan. Elena,
She's about... Yeah, she's 16 approximately. She has hair. She's a Serbian American.
purple belt.
Purple belt.
She's a phenom.
Killer. She's a phenomenon. Yeah, phenomenal. She is. And you know, the most interesting thing about Helena is she is the actual Zen machine. Like her face, concentration. She is focused. A very systematic approach, and she's very good. Jiu-jitsu, you never know what's going to happen next day, because who's the best? Whoever's the best today. Tomorrow can be a new guy. But I don't see anyone beating her for a while, because she really is a cut above. I mean, she can give fascia preta. She can give black belts very big problems. Easy. So, I mean, when you're at this level, it's Helena's, she's something. Now,
female Elena and the male Gordon Ryan.
Yeah, Gordon Ryan, if you look at strict grappling, I think Gordon is amazing. And I'll tell you why. I think Gordon's very strong, and I think he's got the type of musculature for grappling, like a python, long term. But I don't think Gordon is an athlete like you would see, for example, Jordan Burroughs. You know, he's not that explosive athletic. But everything he does is not just from the physical point of view, but he uses this. Right. And this is his biggest weapon. It's his brain. Yeah. He is, and also, you know, a lot of people jump on him because he's, you know, he's playing the game like everyone else. But he had if you look at him, a lot of his friends left his gym and they attacked him online, and yet he was able to focus. And the truth is, he's the man. He really changed jiu-jitsu. First and foremost, he brought it back to being a more static continuing program, some of this explosive, like Marcelo Garcia style. And he was, I wouldn't say the first American to dominate, but he is the American who really broke the mold. Like if you would have said 15 years ago or 20 years ago, there's an American guy going to be Gordon Ryan from Hens, you'd say, come on, man. You know, come on. But it's true. It's true. And listen, he's done very well, regardless of what people say of the way he behaves or not. And people don't understand, a lot of times it's for the camera and to build up fights, right? Because it is a business in the end, and you have to promote yourself. If you're not promoting yourself, no one else is. But his technique and his system and the procedure and his loyalty to Danaher, second to none.
Yeah.
What is the future of catch wrestling in Brazil and in the world, in your opinion? What's the next 5 years, 10 years? Where's catch wrestling going in Brazil and in the world?
Depends if a great catch wrestler start winning the tournament at DCT, so the sports in a high level. But if you don't have this guy, this athlete is in the same situation.
I absolutely agree. You know, now you have the Ruotolo brothers. They started training with Eric Paulson, right? Paulson. Now, it's more for MMA, but I have no doubts that Paulson's giving them some direction.
Yeah.
You know, so they might be holding the flag. I also think, so I'm very positive for catch. I think catch's biggest problem is catch itself. And what do I mean by this? I don't think, jiu-jitsu really exploded. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it really exploded with the IBJJF when they had a system and a goal. I don't think catch wrestling has that. I think Josh Barnett is doing it. He has now I forgot the name of the competition, but it's going to be, I believe, in a month and a half. They're doing competitions now, and I think if they can get a little bit separated from pro wrestling and start to at the grassroots. What am I by grassroots? With the smaller clubs to start in every state, in Brazil, more cities. I think catch will grow, and I think you will see guys who come from catch who will do well in Abu Dhabi. Will they only be pure catch? I don't think so. I think now we live in a world that even if you do catch, you're gonna do some jiu-jitsu, and unfortunately with jiu-jitsu, it's not the same. A lot of jiu-jitsu-teros are not open to doing catch. And what I want to ask you, what can be done to get jiu-jiteros to be more positive and open up to catch wrestling? What can be done?
That's very difficult to answer that, because depends the culture, depends the teacher, the professor. In Brazil, it's very difficult to do this because you have the luta livre, jiu-jitsu, and in a small place, catch wrestling. So it's very, very hard to, here in Brazil, it's hard to
expand.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on luta livre? Do you do luta livre at all?
Is fantastic. We have here Alexandre Pequeno.
Ooh, the guillotine.
The king of guillotine. That's the number one Brazil.
Number one guillotine in the world.
Yeah.
And he did it in MMA. He did it in MMA.
He's an amazing guy. I know him
personally, yes.
Personally. He's a fantastic guy. Humble. That's a very good guy. Luta Livre development the guard. And then they put the belt color system in Luta Livre.
Yeah.
Catch wrestling, you don't have the belt.
Yeah.
And you don't have the guard. But Luta Livre, I understand, they need know about guard because in the last, how can I say?
In the last, let's say 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
In the past.
They fight against jiu-jitsu.
Non-stop.
So they need to know about guard. Luta Livre, Brazil, and after Brazil, Peru. Peru is a great place to develop Luta Livre.
There was what was his name? Tony, the Peruvian necktie. He was the guy who made it. Tony, I forgot the last name.
Tony Mendigo.
Is it Tony Mendigo?
Mendigo.
So, Peru is interesting. South America in general, what I feel is that jiu-jitsu isn't so established in South America, but compared historically to catch, I think catch wrestling had some roots in South America, Peru, Argentina, due to the pro wrestling, I believe. So this is very interesting. Now, the vice versa for catch wrestling to jiu-jiteros, I actually found most catch wrestlers pretty open to learning some jiu-jitsu in order to learn how to deal with it. Also, catch wrestling I found to be, they understand that, when you name a technique, who owns a technique? You can find the double wrist lock and a kimura. You can find, for example, double leg takedown from one system. And so catch wrestlers quite understand that. So now, Eduardo, what do you want to tell the audience about yourself?
I really thank for this invitation. I want to say hello to my friend Israel, Gabriel Kitober.
Oh, he's the man.
That's a professor and the black belt, high level.
Very high level black belt.
He lives in Israel.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about my course, bjjfanatic.com, bjjfanatics.com.br, about leg locks, and say thank you to you for the invitation for this show. I love it.
So I want to also say thank you. Eduardo, you are one of the most fascinating guys I've ever spoken to because you have a very intellectual, viewpoint into the martial arts and a very open head. Okay. I'd like to in the future have you on, and I'd like to also see if I can get you on other podcasts, because I think your viewpoint and your story is very important. I want to say thank you very much, first of all, for coming on. You're great. And guys, I'm going to put all of the links to Eduardo's Instagram and YouTube and his video series out there. I'm not taking anything. I want to help Eduardo out. And guys, I want you to, if you can, check it out and join his page if you like, etc. Eduardo, listen, thank you very much, man. And guys, until next time, subscribe. And also I want to give a shout out to another guy who's helped me a lot in the past, who's I'm going to put it inside the description. So I have a friend who's trying to get to 40,000 in YouTube, okay? And we're going to keep it a surprise, but you'll see in the description, and please help him out. And until then, Eduardo, I'll speak to you later. And listen, tamo junto, un abraço por você. I said we are together, and a big hug to you. This guy's a guy, like as a wrestler, you want to give him a handshake and a hug and go for like a churrascaria, which is a Brazilian barbecue, you know? And then they'll kick us out for eating too much. But in the end of the day, everything's good. Thank you very much. Grapplezilla, grab, throw, tap, and subscribe. Take care.
Thank you.